Hello friends, I am welcoming you all in the second session of some basic concept of chemistry. In first session, we gone through number of topics, basic topics, fundamentals, and in this episode, in second episode, we will cover these topics. First one is the properties of matter and their measurement. Second is the uncertainty in measurements. Third is the scientific notation. Fourth is the significant figures. Fifth is the precision and accuracy. And at last, laws of chemical combination. So we will study these five laws: law of conservation of mass, law of definite proportions, law of multiple proportions, Guy-Lussac's law of gaseous volume, and Avogadro's law. So list out all these six topics which we are going to discuss in this episode. Okay. So first of all, I am starting with the properties of matter and their measurement. So as I told you, there are two types of properties: physical properties and chemical properties. Physical properties concerned with the appearance, or you can say structural based properties, like density, melting point, boiling point, odor. These all are the type of physical properties. And chemical property, like combustibility of substance, reaction with metals, reaction with non-metals, acidity, basicity. These are chemical properties. So one thing is important here: we can measure the physical properties of the substance without undergoing any change. Means फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टी अगर हमको मेजर करना है तो वहां पर किसी चेंज की जरूरत नहीं है, हम लोग उसको वैसे ही मेजर कर सकते हैं. बट इन द केस ऑफ chemical properties, there is a requirement of chemical change. Then only we can measure the chemical property. So now we will discuss about the how to measure the physical properties. All right. So measurement of physical properties. Measurement of physical properties. ऑलराइट. तो देखिए, सबसे पहले हमारे पास एट अर्लियर टाइम देयर वर टू सिस्टम्स which we followed for the measurement of physical properties. That was English system and metric system. Metric system was developed in France, but nowadays we are not using this system. Nowadays we are using the universal system for measurement, and that is known as the what? That is known as the international system of units. The international system of units. The international system of units. This system was developed by CGPA in 11th conference. In 11th conference of CGPA, 11th conference of CGPA. CGPA stands for, CGPA का मतलब होता है that is the General Conference for weight and measurements. Weight and measurements. Alright. So this is some historical development. Earlier we were using English system or metric system for the measurement of physical properties, but now in a standard way we are using the international system of units, that is also known as the SI units. SI units, and it was developed in the 11th conference of CGPA. CGPA means General Conference on Weights and Measures, or you can say measurements. Alright, now we will talk about the International System of Units or SI units. International System of Units or SI unit. So according to International System of Units or SI units, there are 7 fundamental physical quantities, and their units is known as fundamental units. तो सबसे पहले हम लोग बात करेंगे फंडामेंटल फिजिकल क्वांटिटी और उनका यूनिट्स के बारे में. So what are those fundamental physical quantities? Fundamental physical quantities. Physical quantities and their units are known as the fundamental units. Fundamental units. Alright. First one is the mass. Mass is the fundamental physical quantity and its unit is kg. It is expressed in kg. Second one is length. It is also the fundamental physical quantity and it is expressed in meters. Third one is the time. Time is also the fundamental physical quantity. It is expressed in seconds. Fourth one is the electric current. Electric current, and electric current is expressed in amperes. Amperes. Fifth one is the amount of chemical substance. Amount of chemical substance that is expressed in moles. Moles is also the fundamental quantity. Sixth is the thermodynamic temperature. Thermodynamic temperature. Thermodynamic temperature means temperature is expressed in Kelvin as a SI unit. Kelvin. Okay. So first one is the mass in kg, length in meters, time in seconds, electric current in amperes, amount of chemical substance in moles, and thermodynamic temperature in Kelvin. And the last one is seventh is the luminous intensity. Luminous intensity, and that is expressed in candela. Candela. So these 7 physical quantities are known as the fundamental physical quantities, and their units are known as the fundamental units. Apart from all these physical quantities are known as the derived quantities, and their units are known as derived unit. Suppose I am taking example of force. Force we can define as mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration, that means m into a. Now m into a, so m is the fundamental one because you know mass is the fundamental unit, but acceleration is not here. So as what is acceleration? That will be the derived unit. And if we write the, we know what is acceleration. Acceleration is the change in velocity with time. So we are writing here m into v by t, where v is the change in velocity or t is the time taken. Now what is t? T is the time taken. So time is the fundamental quantity, but velocity is not the fundamental quantity. So again we are splitting the formula velocity. So it becomes m into what is velocity? That is change in displacement upon time. So it becomes displacement means mass into displacement upon time, means it becomes t square. Now you can see all are present in their fundamental form: mass, fundamental quantity; displacement, that means it is expressed in length, that is also fundamental quantity; time, that is expressed in second, that is also fundamental quantity. So by putting the values here kg and here meter and it's a second square, you can find the unit of the force. All right, so this is the mean by fundamental physical quantities and fundamental units. Got it? Now after the fundamental quantities, there are some prefixes which are used for the calculation in SI system. So prefixes used in the SI system, it's a learning part. You have to learn what are the prefixes used in the SI unit system and what are their values. So I am drawing here the entire chart by which you can learn the prefixes and their values. Okay, I am writing here this is the straight line and here I am writing 10. Alright, and at above axis, above we are writing the negative values. Here 10 to raise power minus 1, then 10 to raise power minus 2, 10 to raise power minus 3, 10 to raise power minus 6, 10 to raise power minus 9, 10 to raise power minus 12, then 15, 10 to raise power minus 15, then 18, 10 to raise power minus 18, then 10 to raise power minus 21. At last we are writing 10 to raise power minus 24. These are the negative exponent values which is used in the as a prefixes in the SI unit system. Now we are talking about the positive values. Here I am writing 10 to raise power 2, then 10 to raise power 3, then 10 to raise power 6, then 10 to raise power 9, then 10 to raise power 12, then 10 to raise power 15, 10 to raise power 18, 10 to raise power 21, and at last 10 to raise power 24. You have to learn the name of the prefixes for the conversion in the SI units. So 10 is known as the deca. 10 is known as the deca, D-E-C-A. 10 to power 2 is known as the hecto, H-E-C-T-O. 10 to power 3 is known as the kilo, K-I-L-O. 10 to power 6 is known as the mega, and 10 to raise power 9 is known as the giga, and 10 to raise power 12 is known as the tera, T-E-R-A. 10 to raise power 15 is known as peta, P-E-T-A. 10 to raise power 18 known as exa, E-X-A. 10 to raise power 21 known as zeta, Z-E-T-A, and 10 to raise power 25 known as the iota, Y-O-T-T-A. Alright, so these are the values of positive exponents, and these are the names given. For negative values, 10 to raise power minus 1 is known as the deci, DECI. 10 raised power minus 2 is known as centi. 10 raised power minus 3 is known as milli. 10 raised power minus 6 known as micro. 10 raised power minus 9 known as nano. 10 raised power minus 12 known as pico. 10 raised minus 15 known as femto, FEMTO. 10 raised power minus 18 known as atto, ATTO. 10 raised power minus 21 is known as zepto, ZEPTO. And 10 raised power minus 24 is known as yocto, YOCTO. These are the values which used in the as a prefixes in the international system, or you can say in the SI units. So most frequently used are deca, deci, centi, milli, micro, nano, and pico. These are frequently used. And in positive values, kilo is used frequently, and giga is used frequently. These underlined values, pico, nano, micro, milli, centi, deci, deca, kilo, giga, these are the important values which are required for the numerical approach or for calculation. Alright, so these are the prefixes. Now, after prefixes, now I will talk about the mass. Mass and weight. What is the difference between mass and weight? Okay. Mass and weight. Mass and weight. Alright. देखिए mass क्या है? Mass is the amount, or you can say content in the matter. Mass is defined as the content, or you can say amount inside any matter or substance, that is known as the mass. And mass is constant, that will never change. Okay, suppose there is any object and it having the particles, constant particles, or you can say it is composition, and its mass is m. So that will be constant because it is depend on the content, entire content. All right, and the weight is the force acting on the mass. Suppose you know g, small g, that is acceleration due to gravity. That is a universal force that is applicable over all the mass objects. So of course it will acting downward, g. So W equals to mg. So weight can change, but mass will not change because it is concerned with the content or amount of substance. All right, and W is the force acting on the mass, that is W equals to mg. And mass is expressed in kg, that I told you, because it is one of the fundamental physical quantity and expressed in the fundamental unit, that is kg. All right, now second is the volume. After mass and weight, second is the volume. So what is the volume? Volume we can define as a space occupied by the any matter or substance, that is called the volume. Volume is space occupied. Suppose this is any object and it is occupying some space. So always volume is expressed in the length cube. Length cube. All right. So we can say 1 liter equals to 1000 ml, or we can say 1000 ml or 1000 cm cube. 1000 cm cube is equals to 1 dm cube. 1 dm cube. So this is required for the calculation. So what is the volume? Volume is the space occupied by any material, or you can say any object, and is expressed in the length cube. 1 liter equals to 1000 ml, that you know, and you can say 1000 cm cube equals to 1 dm cube. This is all about the volume. Next is the temperature. temperature is expressed in Kelvin as a absolute scale, or you can say SI unit is the Kelvin. But there are three important scales of temperature in which we are expressing the values, that are the degree Celsius, degree Fahrenheit, and Kelvin. Temperature. Temperature is expressed in basically three scales. First one is the degree Celsius, second is the degree Fahrenheit, and third one is the Kelvin. इन तीन स्केल्स में हम लोग टेम्परेचर को एक्सप्रेस करते हैं. ऑलराइट, डिग्री सेल्सियस, इसका जो स्केल होता है वो होता है 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस से 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस टू 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस. And in the case of Fahrenheit, it is starting with the 32 degree, and it is up to 212 degree Fahrenheit. Alright, and Kelvin is the SI unit of expression of temperature. Alright, this is the three different scales for the expression of temperature. About degree Celsius, this is important. It also shows the negative value of temperature. Negative value means by degree Celsius scale, we can express the negative value of temperature also, and we can convert these three scales with each other with the help of formula. Suppose you want to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius or Celsius to Fahrenheit. So there is a formula: degree Fahrenheit is equals to 9 by 5 degree Celsius plus 32. By this formula, you can interconvert the degree Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to degree Celsius. Same in the case of Kelvin. You want to convert any temperature in Kelvin scale or in SI unit. So K is equals to 0 degree Celsius plus 273.15 Kelvin. By this calculation, you can convert the degree Celsius temperature, or you can say Celsius scale, in the Kelvin scale. Alright, so this is all about the temperature. Now I am writing here some important temperatures conversion in degree Celsius, Fahrenheit, or Kelvin, which is required frequently in different scales. Alright, so first one is the human body temperature. Human body temperature. Human body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius in degree Celsius, and in Fahrenheit it is 98.6 degree Fahrenheit, and in Kelvin it becomes 310 Kelvin. Alright, in degree Celsius 37 degrees Celsius, in degree Fahrenheit it's 98.6, and in Kelvin it becomes 310 Kelvin. This is the human body temperature. Now the next is the room temperature. Room temperature is 25 degrees Celsius in degree Celsius, and 77 degree Fahrenheit, and 298 Kelvin. That means if the room temperature is given in any numerical value, so in degree Celsius it's 25 degrees Celsius, and in Fahrenheit it's 77 degree Fahrenheit, and in Kelvin it's 298 Kelvin. Now after room temperature, boiling point of water. Boiling point of H2O. In degree Celsius, it's 100 degrees Celsius. 100 degrees Celsius, and in Fahrenheit it becomes 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and in Kelvin it becomes 373 Kelvin. So this is the boiling point of H2O: 100 Celsius, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and 373 Kelvin. Now freezing point of H2O means freezing point of water. Freezing point of H2O. So in degree Celsius it's 0 degree Celsius, and in Fahrenheit it's 32 degree Fahrenheit, and in Kelvin it becomes 273.15 Kelvin. These are some important values of different temperature scales which is required for the numericals: human body temperature, room temperature, boiling point of H2O, and freezing point of H2O. All right. Now our next topic is uncertainty in measurement. Uncertainty in measurement. So what is the meaning of uncertainty? You know, in lab you are doing a lot of experiments in physics and chemistry. So you are taking the different values, different readings, or you can say data. So due to some error, due to instrumental error, due to human error, so there are different types of error. There will be some uncertainty in the, or you can say in the data or in the readings. So we'll talk about some mathematical calculation. How can we find the different accurate value? All right. So first of all, we are starting with the uncertainty in measurement. Uncertainty in measurement. Uncertainty in measurement. So in this topic, first of all, we will study about the significant figures. Significant figures. Significant figures. It is very important. So first of all, you should know what I mean by significant figures. So these are meaningful digits. Meaningful digits. Meaningful digits. So what are the significant figures? These are meaningful digits which are known with certainty. Which are known with certainty. Meaningful digit which are known with certainty, plus one which is estimated, or you can say uncertain. Now what is I'm explaining the meaning of significant figure. So I defined here significant figure as a meaningful digit which are known with certainty plus one which is estimated or uncertain. So what is the meaning of this statement? Suppose I am writing here one value, that is, suppose I am writing 11.2 ml. This is any numerical data in ml, 11.2 ml. So 11 before decimal, 11 is a certain value. यहाँ पर जो 11 होगा, that will be the certain value. That is a certain. And after decimal, that is this, that is 0.2. It is uncertain. It is uncertain. And the uncertainty would be plus 1 or minus 1. Uncertainty would be plus minus 1. All right. So there are some rules to find the significant figures. कुछ rules होते हैं जो कि हम लोगों को मालूम होने चाहिए कि हम लोग significant figures कैसे पता लगाएंगे अगर हम लोगों को कोई value दे रखी है. So I will discuss all the rules one by one. So first of all, rule number first. All non-zero digits. I am writing here all non-zero digits are significant. Means अगर जीरो नहीं है ऐसी सारी डिजिट्स क्या होगी, सिग्निफिकेंट होगी. सपोज आई एम टेकिंग एग्जांपल 344 centimeters. That means there are no zeros, so all are significant. So significant figure SF become what? 3. Okay. Another example. Suppose I am taking an example as 0.45 meters. 0.45. So here 0.45 means that there are two significant values 4 and 5. So SF become what? 2. 0 will not count because all non-zero digits are significant. Rule number 1 is clear. Now rule number 2. Rule number 2, 0 preceding to first non-zero digit. 0 preceding to first non-zero digit are not significant. Are not significant. What's the meaning of this statement? Suppose I am writing example here. 0.04. You know this 0 is non-significant. Here I have written 0 preceding to first non-zero. These are not means this 0 is also non-significant. It is only showing the place of decimal. All right. So that means what is the significant figure? Only 1. Only 1. Another example I am taking. Suppose 0.00052. 0.00052. So that means these all 0 which are presiding to first non-zero digits are not significant. That means only these 2 will be significant. So the SF become 2. That means significant figure become 2. So 2 rules are clear. First one is that all non-zero digits are significant. Second is the 0 preceding to first non-zero digits are not significant. That 0 shows the only place of decimal. Alright. Now the third rule is 0 between the two non-zero digits. 0 between the two non-zero digits will be significant. अगर 0 दो non-zero digit के बीच में है तो वो significant होगा. So third rule is I am writing here. Third rule is zeros between two non-zero digits. Zeros between two non-zero digits. Two non-zero digits will be significant. Zeros between two non-zero digits will be significant. So what is the meaning of this rule? I am taking example. Suppose I am taking example 2.0008. This is any numerical value 2.008. So now these zeros will be also significant because it is lying between two non-zero digits. So what is the significant figure? All are significant means 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So SF means significant figure become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It becomes 5. Alright. So this is clear. Rule number third, zeros between two non-zero digits will be significant. Alright. Now the next is the rule number 4. Rule number 4. These three are clear. Rule number 4. Zeros at the end. Fourth rule. Zeros at the end, or you can say right side. Right side. Zeros at the end, or you can say right side of a number are significant. Zero at the end, or you can say right side of the number are significant, or you can say that should be after decimal. Alright. Example 0.200. This is the value which is given, and you have to find the significant figures. 0.200. So that means this 0 is not significant, but after decimal the zeros at the right side, or you can say at the end after decimal, that zeros will be significant. That means 1, 2, 3. SF will be 3. Alright, so this is the rule number 4. 0 at the end, or you can say right side of the number, are significant after decimal. Now after rule number 4, you have to know one important thing. It is important note, that is terminal zeros. Terminal zeros are not significant. Terminal zeros are not significant if there is no decimal point. If there is no decimal point, कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर टर्मिनल जीरो है लेकिन वहां पर डेसिमल नहीं है, तो जो टर्मिनल जीरो होंगे वो सिग्निफिकेंट नहीं होंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सपोज आई एम राइटिंग हियर 100. In 100, how many significant figures will be there? So that means there is no decimal. So these zeros will non-significant. Only one will be significant. So the SF means significant figure will be 1. Got it? So terminal zeros are not significant if there is no decimal point. Alright. I am taking one more example. Suppose here it is written 100 decimal, 100 points. Then the significant figure become these. Now this 0 becomes significant along with the 1. So 1, 2, 3. SF become 3. Alright. Suppose now I am writing 100 decimal 0. So you know these 0 will be significant and this 0 will also be significant because it is after decimal. Rule number 4. Okay. So SF become 1, 2, 3 and 4. Alright. So in such cases there are a lot of confusion. So we will use the scientific notation for this purpose. Scientific notation means for 1, if we are writing as 1 into 10 to the raised power 2, 1 into 10 to the raised power 2, then the SF become 1. If we are writing 1.0 into 10 to the raised power 2, then SF become 2. If we are writing 1.00 into 10 to the raised power 3, then the SF become 3. Similarly, 1.000 into 10 to the raised power, it's a 2. Then it become SF become 4. So in this confusion, it is better we should write the value in scientific notation, or in scientific notation we will find the significant figure only on the basis of these numbers. There is no role of this exponent or this power, you can say, in the calculation of significant figures in scientific notation. Alright, we will only find the SF, or you can say significant figure, on the basis of these number or digits. Got it? Now, one more important thing there about the counting. If some counting is given, that is, counting means that is the exact value. That is the exact value. If some counting is given, suppose counting is given 20 pen or 40 balls. So it is the exact value 20 pen or 40 balls. In such cases, infinite number of significant figures are possible. How? 20 pen. So that means this 20 can be written as 20.0000. That means you can put infinite zeros, and all the zeros are significant after decimal. So infinite number of significant figure possible in the case if the exact value is given. As same, if 40 pen is given, so after 40 you can put infinite zeros. Then in such cases, when exact count is given, then then the significant figure SF will be what? Infinite. Got it? So these are the important rules to find the significant figures. Now, after scientific notation is a very common topic in the mathematical approach that I think you already know, but I am briefing scientific notation. Scientific notation. Scientific notation means this is a format to write the scientific notation, n into 10 to the raised power small n, where n is the number, or it is also known as digit term. Digit term, and this n is called the exponent. Exponent, and that may be positive value और नेगेटिव वैल्यू. ऑलराइट, तो इस फॉर्मेट में अगर कुछ भी लिखते हैं हम लोग तो वो क्या होगा? साइंटिफिक नोटेशन होगा. n is showing the number of digit term and small n is showing the exponent, and the value of exponent may be positive or may be negative. So it is a tool, mathematical tool, which makes the calculation easy. Suppose there is some value I am writing here. One more thing is important here. In number, when you are writing the number or digit term, the decimal point should be between two first digits. Alright, I am taking example 6.023 into 10 to the raised power 23. So in this case, 6.023 is the number or digit term, and this is the exponent. So this decimal point should be between two first digits. It is important. Alright. Suppose I am writing any example or any value. Suppose 344.501. You have to write this value in scientific notation, 344.501. That means now you have to shift this decimal between these two digits. So you are shifting decimal towards right side. Alright. So it becomes 3.44501. You are shifting decimal 2 points. And always remember, if you are shifting the decimal towards right side or forward, then there will be positive exponent. There will be positive exponent equals to the number of places shifted. Alright, so that means it become 3.44501 into 10 to the raised power 2. Positive exponent when there is a shifting of decimal towards right side, or you can say forward. Alright, and that exponent which you are raising is equals to the place shifted. Alright, so you are shifting at two places, so it becomes 2. Got it? Now one more example. Suppose I am writing here 0.00014. 0.00014. So you have to place the decimal between these two digits. Now you are shifting left side. So it becomes 1.4. How many places you are shifting? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1.4 into 10 to the raised power minus 4. 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 4. Why minus 4? Because the decimal is shifting towards left side. So you have to memorize only this one thing only. If you are shifting decimal towards right side, then the positive exponent will raise, and if you are shifting the decimal towards the left side, then the negative exponent will raise. Alright, so this is the scientific notation, and significant figure is clear. Now you know about the rules of the significant figure. Now the one more important topic is there, that is the precision and accuracy. Precision and accuracy. What is meant by precision and accuracy? It is very closely defined, so please pay attention to understand the meaning of precision and accuracy. Precision and accuracy. Precision and accuracy. To explain the precision and accuracy, I am just first putting one example. Precision and accuracy. Okay. Suppose this is your target. Alright, this is your target, and you are trying to hit your target. Okay. In first case, you hit it, suppose at these places 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what you are finding here, all the spots is not close with each other and also away from the target. Suppose this target is the true value. This target is the true value. And these spots which you are trying to hit the target, these spots are the your readings during experiment. Readings during experiment means you are performing an experiment and you have taken these 6 readings, and that 6 readings are not close with each other and it is also away from the target. That means closeness is concerned with the precision value, how the values are close with each other. That is called the precision, and accuracy is the agreement towards the true value. So that means in this case there is a low precision and low accuracy. Low precision and low accuracy because these are not close with each other and also away from your target or true value. So that means precision is low and accuracy is also low. In next case, and suppose this is your target. I'm target designing like this. This is your target. Okay. Now you want to hit this target, and you fired here. So these are the values which you obtain. Result you obtain. That means these spots are, or you can say values are very close to each other and also hitting the target. That means due to closeness in these readings, due to closeness in these targets, there will be high precision and all the targets hit, all the fire hits the target. That means accuracy is also high. So high precision and high accuracy. High precision and high accuracy. In third case, suppose I'm considering this is the target. Alright, this is the target. I'm drawing it larger. This is the target. Okay. Now, now suppose you fired on the target, and the result is few are hit there here. Alright, means they are hitting the target but not close to each other. That means low precision and high accuracy. Low precision and high accuracy means closeness is not here in the readings, but the that is very close to the true values. And the last case is for, suppose this is a target and all are hitting the target but not close with each other. This it is a very typical case if the all are hitting target, there should be closeness, but this is also possible, means all are close with each other, that means high precision and high precision and low accuracy, high precision and low accuracy. All right, so this I am explained on basis of example only, but how will you apply this concept in the experimentation or readings? It is important. So I am taking one more example. Suppose there are three students which are performing any experiment and taking the readings. I am noting the readings on the basis of experiment. Suppose there are three students, first student, second student and third student. Okay, and these are, you can say these are the A. It's better to write here the student name as A, B and C, and these are first experiment, the first reading or second reading, and there is the average value. Okay, so student A is performing experiment and he found their value as suppose 1.95, and for second 1.93, and the average is